All right, we're back in Luis's house. You guys might remember him from the last video. So this is part 2. I foresee a part 3 in our future, to be honest.
Probably so.
Yeah, just from like a cursory look around.
Yep.
But nonetheless, a lot of work has been done, mostly on your part, because I've been mostly hands-off since we last filmed or made the last video. So there's been a lot of changes. For instance, like behind this TV here is one access point.
Yes, so we have one access point behind here providing Wi-Fi, also providing direct connection to this TV. So the TV's hardwired, also access point. That's why I love those
EAP
1800, I think.
815s? Doesn't matter. Sure. Anyway, so those access points, as you may remember, actually have Ethernet ports on them as well for pass-through Ethernet, and then they have a wireless capability built in. So it's really cool because you stick them on your wall and you get best of both worlds with a direct connection as well as Wi-Fi for your mobile devices.
Yeah, without a lot of space. Like that's the key, right? Like you can hide it, and it's it just works, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and this one provides. I'm assuming we haven't done any speed tests or anything like that, but it's going to provide really good coverage for this entire living room area and kitchen.
The other thing that we haven't gotten to, and a lot of people are curious about, is the home audio. So the speakers above are still covered up. Eventually we will get there.
And we'll show you some more home audio stuff upstairs, because that's really where it gets cool, because that's the home theater in this house. And you'll see that in a minute, but we're just gonna wrap up looking at some of the access points and then a camera, or a couple of the cameras real quick, and then go through that. So first one we're gonna look at is the home office.
So home office, basic setup, right? Here's the access point that works very well, right? Again, very small, very sleek. 3 Ethernet, 2 Ethernet, 1 PoE, which is cool. So if I did have a device that I needed to have PoE, I can have it right here in my home office. I would never foresee why I would need that, but I have it just in case. So again, it just works, right? But I have it here, and at times I do have 2 computers plugged in. I'll have my personal and then my work, or I'll have 2 work laptops going at the same time that I can hardwire in and not have to worry about Wi-Fi being flaky on me, so that works. All right, so let's go outside. Out here, outdoor TV, camera in the top corner as a secondary camera. So this camera specifically is a 5 megapixel. A lot of folks worry about the audio quality, but what I found as a secondary camera, 5 megapixel is more than enough to cover it in, any entry from the backyard. So behind the TV, I'm considering putting another access point to provide me solid Wi-Fi range out here, as well as feed the TV hard line. I'm still debating on whether I'll do that or not. Additionally, again, going to the home audio, you can see the cable kind of strung behind the TV. Isn't wired up, but there will be 2 speakers out here, 1 on each side, to provide the home audio outdoor speakers. So out here on these 2 corners of my house, you can see the RJ45 rundown. We'll have 2 cameras, 1 on this corner pointing this way, and then 1 in this corner covering this side of the house. So these 2 cameras will be 8 megapixel as my primary cameras, and like I said, I have the other one on the porch that is a 5 megapixel as a secondary camera.
Now we're gonna head upstairs now and show you probably the last couple critical things that need to be done with the house. Now, so like we mentioned earlier, still a lot of work that needs to be done. Obviously there's still cameras that need to be hung up, and we still have some work to do on the network rack too. But there's things that we need to purchase first before we really finish that and tidy that up, as you'll see in a moment. Just sat down, so it's gonna be actually our second time hearing it, but actually watching a movie. And I gotta say, it sounds amazing already.
It sounds pretty good. So mind you, from a home theater or movie room perspective, this is not like extremely entry level, but it's also not your $8,000, $15,000, $20,000 like setup. It's slightly above entry level, if you will. Denon AVR, mono price speakers all the way around.
Mono price?
Mono price.
I didn't know they made speakers.
Yes, and a 5.1.2 setup. So have 2 Dolby Atmos speakers for overhead, and your typical 5 surround sound speakers, or your 5 typical speakers: center, left, right, and then your 2 rears. And in this setup, my 2 rears are actually overhead. I was a little bit nervous on how they would sound, as far as where the sound is coming from. However, they work great. The 2 or all the speakers in the ceilings are 15-degree angled. So the 2 in the front are angled towards the seating area, and then 2 up left and upper right are angled also towards the seating area, towards the center. So.
Man, that bass, how many watts is your subwoofer? Because it sounds like, I feel like I'm in a movie theater.
So you would ask the one question that I don't know.
Oh, nice. What brand is it?
It's Eclipse.
Oh, nice. It looks like a 1200 watt.
Yeah.
Or 1000 watt at least.
Yeah.
Let's take a look.
I'll look it up. I don't know. I honestly can't remember.
So you guys don't get to experience the awesomeness because of these terrible mics that I have. But yeah, this thing is a beast. Like, again, I have to guess it's probably 1100 watts or so.
Yeah, I mean, I could Google it, right? But I bought it at you could find it at your local club store, if you know what that means. I got it on sale. It was less than $200. It works great.
All right, and so of course this is the brains of the outfit of everything going on. We still, or I say we, but it's really going to be you unless you want me to come back over and help. But there's really a lot of work that needs to be done in here still, and the entire house right now is run off of this network rack itself. And as you can see in the back, all the cables come through the wall, and it's a bit of a mess, but there's still some work that we need to do and things that we need to buy.
Absolutely. I got it to the point that it works. And it is not pretty, but it works. At the very bottom, NVR for my camera system, that'll eventually be on a rack. Denon 76 S760H. I also got it from a club store on sale. Solid product. Again, it just works, right? Has a calibration tool, set that up, and it just kind of works. TP-Link, 24-port PoE switch, patch panel, ER605 router, OC200 controller. I have a couple smart switches in the house. Lutron Caseta, this is the hub for that. And then, of course, Apple TV. So that was my latest addition, and I'm so happy I got it. So I can now do HomeKit and some other stuff because of the Apple TV. So
yeah, and I know a lot of people in the previous video were really curious to know what sound receiver he was running and what speakers you had. So there you go. This is it. This is the thing, the brains behind it all.
Absolutely. Brains behind it all. I had 2 requirements. I wanted to be able to do 7.2 or 7.1.2 in the future potentially, and I didn't want to pay $1,000. I was able to get all of that with this. So.
And then of course, one thing we failed to mention, there is an Xbox on top of the rack. And the reason why it's on top of the rack is potentially some Bluetooth connectivity issues due to the distance from the this room that is closed and the other room that also has doors, and then the home theater is just beyond that wall there. But that's fine, it works, and that's what matters most. And of course, we have the gateway up there. Not too big of a deal. Mine's on top of my rack as well. All right, guys, I think that pretty much wraps up this video. Unfortunately, there's really not much work for us to do. There's not really much to even show beyond everything you see here. The home theater is set up, as you can see. We're gonna sit back, relax.
Yeah, let's do it.
Enjoy a movie, and yeah, I think that's the end. So, thanks for letting us tour around again. Absolutely. I hope this was a good follow-up for everyone that really want to know about the home audio system. Personally, I think it was all covered pretty well. And yeah, peace. Ooh, Tenacious D is a good movie.
I haven't seen that in forever.
Wedding Crashers is a good movie too.
There's a lot of There's so much out there nowadays. It's almost overwhelming.
Yeah.
So many options. Like, what is this?
House of Ho?
What is that?